Welcome to the Happy Black Woman podcast, the show for Black women entrepreneurs who want it all. I'm your host, Rosetta Thurman, and if you're ready to stop settling and start creating the life and business you really want, you're definitely in the right place. Now let's get into the show. Welcome back to the Happy Black Woman podcast. I cannot believe it has been 5 years since I recorded an official podcast episode. So this is kind of like a relaunch, but it really feels more like a launch, okay? So anyway, I wanted to kick this off by introducing myself to all the new listeners who'll be tuning in and reintroducing myself to all my OGs who may have been subscribed from the very beginning. So I got my coffee and let's get into it. I'm Rosetta Thurman, founder of Happy Black Woman. It's a personal development company that empowers Black women entrepreneurs to create the lives and businesses of their dreams. I have been a professional coach for 17 years now. I cannot believe this. It is a little wild how life works when you let it work, right? And really, it's the joy of my life to be able to help women get clear on their vision for their lives and build a business that will support it. Because that's one of the things that I found out is when you start visioning and goal setting and making a vision board and things like that, you got to figure out how am I going to pay for all this stuff that I want? Because a lot of it does cost money. Let's be real. And so many of us want to find a way to fulfill our purpose through the work that we do. And for many of us, especially now with everything going on, entrepreneurship is a beautiful way to do that. Now, all of this started, Happy Black Woman started way back in 2010 when I created a blog called The Diary of a Happy Black Woman. Y'all remember blogs? I still have a blog. But I was using this online journal essentially to document my journey of transforming my life and career. And to my surprise, thousands of women started reading the blog, leaving comments, and that led to me actually starting to host free events like happy hours and meetups for my readers. And then I was at a happy hour one time, just hanging out with some readers, and they were like, "Are you going to teach us something?" You write about, goal setting and starting a business, on your blog. Are you going to teach us how to do some of that? And so then I started having paid workshops, which turned into conferences and retreats. And before I knew it, Happy Black Woman was a whole full time business. I ended up shutting down my former business, which was a nonprofit consulting business. So I have been doing Happy Black Woman full time since 2014. So, anyway, fast forward to me originally starting this podcast in 2015. So, about 10 years ago, I started this podcast and I went hard for about 5 years. I recorded over 100 episodes, had over 1 million downloads, y'all. And then my energy for it just kind of fizzled out during the pandemic. And I actually started doing live streams all the time instead. I really fell in love with the video aspect and really connecting with my audience that way, if you can believe it. I used to be so against video and showing my face and going live. But that was really powerful to do during the pandemic and connect with my audience that way. But as you probably know, over the last few years, the podcasting world has blown back up in a big way. And I've been really wanting to get back on the mic for a while. And by a while, I mean a while. So as I ease back into this world of podcasting, I wanted to kick things off with just a conversation about what it's like to begin again and the power of that. So, this episode is really for anyone who feels like you've pressed pause or put something on the back burner and you're wondering if it's too late to start over or how to even do that. So, today I want to share with you 3 truths about beginning again. Number one, here is what I found in this process. You have to give yourself permission to start over with whatever it is. Nobody else can do it for you. And there's really so much personal power that you take when you choose yourself on any given thing or for any given reason at any given time and just say, this is what I want to do right now. I'm choosing myself. And if I want to start over, I'm going to start over. You don't need anyone else's approval or, someone to say, now you can do this. You don't need anyone to tell you that you can now go and do this again. You don't need anyone to release you to be able to do whatever it is you want to do, even if it's been on the back burner for a while. You don't need anyone to tell you to pursue your dream, and you don't need anybody to tell you to get back to your dream. So you have to give yourself permission. You have to give yourself the power. You have to empower yourself to say, hey, I can make this decision. I don't need anyone else's input on this. I mean, you can, right? You can ask till the cows come home. But at the end of the day, no one else can make the decision for you to start over. So you have to give yourself permission to do that. Number 2, there is no perfect time. I don't know, when I first stopped podcasting, as an example, people would say, "Hey, when are you starting to podcast again?" And I'll say, "Oh, soon, look out for something soon." But I didn't, have a time. I just thought, "Oh, when the time is right, I'll start it back up." But, there really is no perfect time, like an objectively perfect time for anything. The right time is when you say it is. The right time is when you say it is. You don't have to have all your ducks in a row. Doesn't have to be New Year's Day or your birthday or a Monday. Honestly, you just have to start with what you have, and it will always be more than enough. You decide now is the time, then now is the time. You don't have to justify it. A lot of times, when I'm coaching women and when I'm coaching myself, um, our default as human beings is to not take action. Our default is inaction. So for those of you wondering, why is it that, I procrastinate or put things off? That's the default. Our default as human beings is to not act. So whenever you talk about doing something um, that it's taking you a long time to do, or it seems hard, or you're wondering if you can do it, you got doubts and all this stuff, of course you don't want to do it right now. You would love to have the outcome of it right now, but you don't wanna do it right now. It's hard. So you have to find for yourself that now is the perfect time. You have to decide that this is gonna be the time I'm gonna do it. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna be messy. It's gonna be hard, but I still wanna do it anyways. All right, number 3, and this kind of follows from number 2, there is no perfect time. Um, you you have to really want what's on the other side of beginning again. You have to want the outcome of whatever it is that you're doing. Because if it is going to be hard and if there is going to be a learning curve, if there is going to be some mindset shifts that have to happen, then you gotta really want what's on the other side of that. And the decision to move forward will be interrupted if you don't have that passion, that fire, that desire. And so every time I would think about, restarting this podcast, for instance, I'd be like, oh, soon, later, when is the right time? But what I really connected to, I really wanna reach women in this way again. I really wanna be in your ears again. I really want the level of community that was created through podcasting and that is still being created now with everyone kinda getting back into it and listening to them again. So I really want to be a part of that. I really want for my audience to be able to connect with me in this way. I really want connection in this season of my life, of my business, of my legacy, and podcasting is a really wonderful way to do that. But I had to get really um, into that. I had to really write that down and write about what I wanted to get out of this process because it is a process. It does take time sitting down, taking time out of your day to do it, to get it edited, all these different things, right? Your thing has a list that goes along with it. It's not just I'm going to do this thing or get back to doing this thing. There is a whole to-do list associated with it. So if you're not really excited about what's on the other side of it, then you're probably not gonna do it, or you're gonna do it stop, start, right? So write down for yourself, like, why am I doing this? What is my why for picking this up again or taking it off the back burner or starting this thing over? What is my why? And that why needs to be strong enough to carry you through to the other side. All right? I'm gonna give you a bonus one here. I said I had 3, but I've got a bonus one here, and that is there is so much power in just making the decision. The decision is actually where the power comes from because we can think about it, talk about it, write about it till the cows come home, right? But nothing can move until you say yes. You're gonna keep going back and forth with your dreams, with your goal, whatever it is, instead of taking action to, like, move towards it. But everything shifts when you finally decide, "I'm gonna do this." And a decision, is actually not a decision until you've taken some action, and that's not me saying that. That's, a quote from Tony Robbins that I really, took to heart. A decision is not a decision unless you've taken some action. And when I first heard that, it hit me because, yeah, I mean, just saying yes to something doesn't mean anything. People say yes and go back on their word all the time. They say yes and, still don't, follow through with the next step all the time. So a decision to start over or begin something again requires an action step, right? So for this podcast, I had to hit record because there were many times that I thought I had decided to do it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's no episode to share with my audience this week. I guess I haven't really decided to do this and, what it's going to look like. And am I going to use the same name? And, all these things that go along with it, right? But the decision wasn't actually made until I hit record because that action aligns with the decision that I made. And for some of us, we think we've made a decision, but then you actually go and do the opposite action from that decision, right? So I help women start businesses, so they can create the lives that they want. And a lot of times someone will say, I am deciding I'm going to start it. I'm going to launch my business before the end of the year or whatever the timeline is. But the action that they take is opposite from that. So they actually, instead of launching their business before the end of the year and like taking the actions that would lead to that, they actually go back into research mode and, get paralyzed by talking to Chat GPT. This is so wild because when I first started this podcast, ChatGPT wasn't a thing, right? I'm talking about stuff on my podcast now that didn't exist in 2015. Anyway, sidebar. Um, the action that you take needs to be aligned with your decision. It's so easy to say you're going to do something and then do the opposite. It's like taking 1 step forward and 3 steps back. It's like, "Oh, wait a minute. Do I have enough information? Let me go and research." And then that takes you away from the decision to launch your business before the end of the year or, finish writing your book so you can get it edited, whatever the thing is, start your podcast again. Like, I could make the decision, but then it's like, "Well, let me go and do some journaling about what I want the new focus to be, and, that's not actually what needed to happen after I made the decision. What I needed to do was press record, right? If you're trying to write a book, what you need to do is sit down and type some words. If you, want to get back on track with your business, you need to sit down and send an email or put together an offer, come up with a price, update your software for taking payments. Like those are things that are actually aligned with the decision. So that's your bonus one. So just to recap, the three truths about beginning again. Number one, you have to give yourself permission to start over because nobody's going to do it for you. Number two, there is no perfect time. The right time is when you say it is. Number three, you have to get connected to what's on the other side. You have to be excited about it. You have to know your why of why you're doing this. And the bonus one, number four, there is so much power in making a decision because nothing can move until you say yes. And once you say yes, you have to make sure that you take an action that is aligned with that yes. So, here is my challenge to you as we close out today's episode. What is a dream, a goal, a project, something that you put on pause or put on the back burner that you are ready to begin again, that you want to begin again, that you're excited to begin again? Write it down, say it out loud, tell it to somebody, tell your accountability partner, and then take an action today to bring it back to life. That is my challenge to you because whether it's launching your business, writing your book, or yes, starting the podcast again after 5 years, you're not too old and it's not too late, and everything is still possible for you. All right. Now, for those of you who have been thinking about launching or relaunching your business, I have something special to share with you before I go, and that is the Launch Your Business Bootcamp Summer Sprint Edition. I have not offered this program in a long time, but I really wanted to put something together for the woman who is ready to stop putting her entrepreneurial dreams on the back burner and finally launch her business before the end of summer. It is so possible for you to do this when you have the right structure, accountability, and of course, a deadline. So, over the next 6 weeks, starting August 14th, if you are listening to this after, we may have the self study available, but we start August 14th, 2025, and we go to September 18th. And what we do is for 6 weeks, we have step by step training modules and homework assignments that you do each week with the goal to get your business out there, get your business off the ground or back on track in 6 weeks so that you can enter Q4 with your business up and running. You'll have your offer, you will have your brand, you will be clear on who your ideal client is, you'll have your business set up. It's going to be amazing. So you can take advantage of the final quarter of the year where a lot of entrepreneurs make a lot of money. So if you would like to learn more and join us, we start August 14th. So go to happyblackwoman.com/LYBB, happyblackwoman.com/LYBB. I'll put the link in the show notes around this podcast episode as well. But really, this is for you if you're really tired of getting in your own way and you are ready to begin again when it comes to your business, turning your expertise into something that's profitable, something that's purposeful, something that will be meaningful for you in your life. So I hope to see you in the boot camp. And until next time, thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to the Happy Black Woman podcast. I have absolutely loved spending this time with you today. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. It would mean so much to me if you took a moment to post a takeaway or an aha moment that you had from the show. It will help me reach so many more women who need the inspiration to create the lives and businesses of their dreams. Until next time, remember, you can do anything you want with your life, and no one can stop you but you.